Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be doing my January wrap-up. Yay! We are through January. Craziness, right? I was like really hoping to read a little bit more books this month, but I didn't do bad. I did pretty good. I did a lot better than I did last year in January. So yeah, and I'm prayerful. I'm hoping that February is going to be even better. We will see, but I'm going to be just giving you a rundown of what I read in January and what my thoughts are on it. So yeah, we'll just get started into it. So in January, I started off the month, and I technically started it towards the end of December, I think. I can't remember, but this was a book that I read with my husband. We finished it in January, about midway through, and this was the first book I got done, Introducing Christianity to Mormons. This is by Eric Johnson. It is a practical and comparative guide to what the Bible teaches. This was a very good book. I believe I gave this one a 4.5 stars. It was very informational. It's more for kind of like going over what the Bible really teaches and what it says on this and how this is contradictory to what Mormonism teaches. It's described as kind of a guide for witnessing to LDS. I liked it. I liked it very much. I have read quite a few books on this topic, and I would say that this is a very basic level, and if you don't know much about the LDS or the church to begin with, I probably would say that you need something else to learn more about them and their doctrine, because while this is very good and like applying to like certain things, I don't think he goes enough into their doctrine and their beliefs that if you didn't already know stuff, I think you'd be unprepared in a lot of areas. So really good, really well done. I really enjoy his writing, in particular Eric Johnson's. He has a couple more works on this subject too, and I'm really excited. Me and my husband are very excited to check out more by him and read more by him. But yeah, just a basic guide, just in case you're wondering. Very simplistic, but it doesn't go deep into them and how everything works. So I would suggest reading something else if you don't know that much about Mormonism. So yeah, that's the first one that I read this month. All right, the second one is another one that I actually also started like towards the end of December or whatnot, and I finished up in January, and that is the first of the Wingfeather Saga, book 1. This is On the Edge of the Dark Sea of Darkness. This is by Andrew Peterson. It is a Christian middle grade book. So this is about 3 siblings, the Igby children. Janner is the oldest boy, and there's Tink, the middle and son, and then Lily, which is the youngest, and the daughter. And basically they live in this place where there are these evil things that kind of like have overtaken the land, and they keep everybody in line, and they're like these nasty monsters. And this is basically just you following them on their adventure in this world. And if you want to know any more than that, I suggest that you read it yourself. This is a little bit of a slower paced starter for the series. The first half is slower paced. I did enjoy the book still, and like enjoyed his writing. Wow, some of it was a little long-winded, but it was pretty good. And the second half, honestly, really started to pick up. It really started to get more interesting, and that fourth half just had me like this, and I'm now very, very excited to read the second book. So, also, these covers are absolutely gorgeous, right? Like, so yeah, that was my second book done of the month of January, and I rated this one a 3.75. Again, mainly because it took such a long time and was a bit slower paced book. So, all right, the third one I did was a book club read for this month for my Christian nonfiction, and that was Narrow Gate, Narrow Way. This is by Paul Washer, and this was one of my 5-star reads last year, and I still really, really loved it. We went a little bit more analytically into this, and because I kind of like denounced a little bit of points, and I think I gave it like 4.5 in my book club, mainly just because of like easy typical stuff that's like, this is a sermon, that was turned into book format. So there are obviously, he doesn't really expound on some things that he says, and just like the way it's written, it's not bad in any way, but there like just are a few, when you're trying to actually like dive more deep into it, it's kind of like, yeah, he didn't really expound on this. And it's like, well, it was a sermon, so, you know, that's kind of why. But there, I want to see, because I think he does. I think he has actually written something, and I'd like to read that to see more of his thoughts on that stuff instead of just a little sermon excerpt. But yeah, it was very good. Very much enjoyed it. I'm very excited for this next month's book in that book club also. But yeah, this was a very quick and easy read, and I took a little bit more time, but only took like 3 days or so, and like towards the middle of January. So yeah. All right, and the fourth book I read this month was actually one that I listened to on audiobook, and that is the 10 Indictments and Indictments of the Modern Church, I believe, by Paul Washer. I'll like put it right here or whatnot. And this was literally like right under 2 hours. It's another one of his sermons that was turned into book format. I enjoyed, I don't know if I'd say enjoyed it more, but I think maybe because I was hearing it on audiobook, and because this was like a sermon previously, that it seemed to flow a little bit better maybe on audiobook. But this one was a solid 4 stars, and it's about basically Paul Washer talking about the 10 places in the church that the church, like as a whole, has neglected with biblical instruction and discipline and stuff, and where they need to like seek reformation, repentance. And yeah, it was very interesting. I very much enjoyed it. There was definitely a couple of them that like stood out more than others, and that I was like, oh yeah, I've seen that. And then some that not so much. I was like, I don't know if I've seen that personally, but definitely very interesting. One I want to also share with my husband when he is back. But yes, I was very glad that I went ahead and read this one on audiobook, because I need to start reading more on audiobook, because I run around and I do laundry and dishes and cleaning and stuff, and I can't sit down and read all the time. So only problem is I have little girls around, so most of the time I have to find something that is like acceptable, and it's hard to tell if there's going to be something like cuss words or stuff like that on an audiobook ahead of time. So I've started to opt to do more of these kind of like sermonatic type of books on audiobooks. So I'm glad I did that one. But that one was a good solid 4 stars, and 2 Paul Washer books in a month. I know, crazy. All right, and the final book that I read this month was Better Than the Movies. This is by Lynn Painter. It is a YA romance. I believe it's like 350-ish pages. This one I read literally in a day. I sped through it in a day. I was like, oh, I ate this up. First off, I love quotes. So starting every chapter with a cute little romantic rom-com quote from a movie, like, just had my heart. I want to go back through and annotate this one. I feel like I want to annotate romance books, because I love romance books and they just make me happy, and they have such cutesy elements and things to them. Those are like the ones that I like want to annotate more than anything. So don't be surprised if I end up rereading this year just to annotate it. But this is about Liz Bockham, and she is like a huge romance chick flick, you know, rom-com, like, oh gosh, what's the word? Lover, I guess, you know, like she loves it. But it was something her and her mom did together. Her mom passed when she was younger, and so this boy from her childhood comes back into the area, and he's a boy that she had a crush on when growing up. And so she thinks it's like meant to be like the story out of a rom-com, but she has like no classes with him, nothing like that. So she enlists the help of her neighbor, whose name is, I want to say Wes. Yes, Wes Bennett. And they like have had feuds with each other, like all growing up. Like the story starts out with him doing something awful to her car, because they have like a ongoing fight over who gets this parking spot on their street. So yeah, she has to enlist his help because he's buddies with them. And so this is just yeah, it's got a lot of elements like the enemies to lovers trope, kind of like a small enemies to lovers trope, the boy next door trope, oh gosh, there was another one I was thinking of. A little bit of fake dating trope in here. It's kind of like a little splash of everything, but I loved this book. I gave it a 4.25 stars. I was a little bit disappointed by the ending. It was a little lackluster. There was a lot going on at the end, and I kept thinking, okay, she's gonna like wrap it up and end it and do something off this, and then she didn't. And the way she did, I was like, what? But then after reading the book, I found out that she has extra chapters from Wes's POV online for free. So I looked those up and I read those through, and one is called After Prom, and it's Wes's point of view for like the end of the book, and it goes a little bit longer, and I liked that one a lot better. It made me a lot happier with like the wrap up and conclusion of the book than what the actual book ended with. So I'm glad that she added those. Thank you so much, Lynn Painter. I want to read more from her. I heard she has one called The Do-Over, I think, and that's like a Groundhog Day theme, and I don't know if I can do a Groundhog Day theme. I think I would be too frustrated, so I'm trying to look into some of her other ones. Let me know which one you think I would like. I'm not sure. I think she has one or two adult romance, but I don't know if those are like closed door or not, like this was. So yeah, you can let me know in the comments if you know, but I very much enjoyed this one. This was a good one to kind of like wrap up the month on. So yeah, all right, thank you guys so much. There are still a couple books that I am like currently reading. I will not be finishing up this month at all, but hopefully I will finish them up within, or at least one of them, I will finish them up within the first week or two of February there. And yeah, wish me luck on my February TBR. I wish you all the best of luck on your February TBR, and I hope January was a pretty good month also. All right, bye guys.